What up, Facebook, Instagram? It's your boy from Bro Code. It's week 3, Bro Code.
What's good?
What's going on?
Let's get it.
All right, so today's topic, we're gonna pick it back on what we did last time. Talking about fatherhood, raising kids, expectations. We always have expectations for our kids. Sometimes you see Lil Jenna running around with a football. The first thing you're thinking is Lil Jenna gonna be a football player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you see Lil Mary, she jumping up and down, dancing and stuff. So you might think she's gonna be like a little cheerleader or something like that.
Right.
But we're gonna twist the thing up. So you know what I'm saying? You want Lil Jenna to be a football player, but Lil Jenna gonna be a doctor. He ain't into sports like that. But you been there, done it. You play sports, so you already assuming like, okay, no, I got somebody who gonna carry my legacy.
Right.
Or then the Susan, she dancing around or whatever. So you thinking, so okay, my baby gonna be a cheerleader, and then she be a stripper.
It's still a dance.
I'm just saying. So it be like that.
Right,
So
right.
we go. You started. You ended it last time. So we're gonna let you pick it back up.
Yeah.
Pick it back up.
So expectations. I guess a lot of us have expectations for our kids. I'm more of I'm a stepfather, but I never call him my stepson. I just call him my son, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been with his mom since he was 5 years old. He's now 18, about to be 19 years old. So that was my first, step into fatherhood was, marrying my wife, and then at that time really marrying him really becoming my son, even though his father is still in the picture,
Right.
But he's in my house every single day. So at that point, I became his. He has two fathers now, in my eyes, right? And then my youngest son now, he's 8, right? And of course, he looks up to his big brother. You know what I mean? Loves him to death and things like that. And of course, you know what I'm saying? We all have expectations. When me and my wife decided to have a child, my whole thing was, first thing came in my mind, of course, I wanted a boy to carry on the legacy and stuff like that.
Right.
And we'll get into it later, but like the way society is now, me, this is just me, this is a personal thing. I wanted to have a boy. I wanted to be like rough and tumble,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And boy, so you gotta be careful, you know what I'm saying? Because God is always listening.
Right.
And sometimes when you don't even say it, he knows, right?
Right.
And so he knew in my heart that's what I wanted, and he gave me extra. Cause my little man is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey man, stop hitting me, stop fighting. You know what I mean? But again, you know what I mean? It's so much going on today, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to it right now, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and pass the torch.
I'll say with me, man, when it comes to expectations of the kids, we have to be careful as parents, because you can find yourself trying to live your life through your kids, and it'd be very detrimental to the kids. And my advice, when it comes to parenting and even my personal experience, I try to listen. I have 2 boys. I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, and 2 boys. And of course, me as a father, like, you want to put them in sports and this and that. They don't ask for it, but you just put them in because you want them to be in extracurriculars. But sometimes you can put them in sports and they may not be cut out for that particular sport. So then you gotta pull back and you gotta listen to your child. Hey son, what do you want to do? Like what are you interested in? And you gotta listen to that, and you try to cater to that and everything. So my personal experience is, just really listening to what the kids want to do.
I would definitely agree with that, man. And like you said, as parents, sometimes we try to live through our kids and try to steer them in a direction of not making the same mistakes that we made, growing up. And I can definitely attest to that, because when my oldest son growing up, I was always on him about, putting forth the best effort, not slacking, being the best person that you can be every day, not, in class, especially in the classroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Academically, like, don't slack,
Yep.
And, in doing that, I was like, dang, am I being too hard on him? Am I trying to, correct my wrongs? Because, I did slack in the classroom, I did not be the best version of myself every day, like so it was like, dang, maybe I need to pull back a little bit. Sports, I love sports. I played sports growing up. that wasn't his thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, dang, like, you know,
Yeah.
listening to what he liked, or, you know, listening to him, especially when it got ready, time for him to graduate and go to college. You know, I wanted him to go UGA. He was talking about UGA. He ended up going to FAM. It's not, you know, it wasn't my preference, but it was his preference.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool. He got his own mind. He got his own direction of how he want to go with his life. So now I got to listen and try to help him with that the best way I can.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Instead of trying to steer him the way I want him.
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
we fall short sometimes with it, man, and it's a struggle as parents because when we see them teetering, you know, it's like, hey, come back this way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And see, and as we get older, man, it's like it's our personal experiences that we're dealing with, but it's also what we see. So we can witness somebody else failing at something, and then like, okay, you want to project that to your child. Like, you know, I saw people do this. I went to Georgia Southern, man, and I'm in my freshman year. Half my friends that I met freshman year, they was gone. You know, because you know what I'm saying. So you see that failure, so you want to encourage your kids to be like, stay focused, stay disciplined, don't be that person. You know what I'm saying. So it's easy to project not just our personal experiences, but experiences that we witness from other people too. So it's a lot.
And then the thing about it is, this is what you guys say. I definitely agree with you as far as living life through the kids. Like, I see so many parents make that mistake. You know, even like when I was coaching football, everybody want to throw their son out there. You know, and I'm quick to ask, okay, what position he play? Oh, he a quarterback. Okay, but he can't throw from me to that camera. Okay, now he ain't a quarterback. Okay, I know the quarterback is, and he's definitely not it. But then, you know, we also got to understand, you know, a lot of parents get mad and frustrated. You know, you don't spend all this money, sitting into all the different camps and all this stuff. I'm saying, but not one time did you even sit the kid down, like you said, AC, and ask him, what is it that you want to do? What is it you want to be? You know what I'm saying? Like, me being a father with girls, I experienced that because my main thing, you know, I played sports too, you know, very athletic. So I was like, okay, I want my girls to be in some kind of sport. You know what I'm saying? So the middle one, you know, she was living with me, you know, versus the other two. So I had my hand in basically kind of, you know, altering that a little bit as far as she ran track and stuff like that. Now the oldest one, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe she'll pick it up down the road. Maybe she'll change her mind. But she was in the band. So I was like, okay, they don't know about football, but they don't know about no flute or no clarinet. Like that. I'm like, yeah, this is a little different. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
As long as they're doing something extracurricular.
Right.
And positive too.
So the thing about it is, man, I remember showing the football games, you know, I'm all into the game, and then at halftime, and look around, everybody leaving. I gotta sit still because my baby finna come out of this instrument, so I gotta be supported. You know what I'm saying? Better than I want that Coke over there or something like that, or nachos or something like that. At the same time, I gotta hold it down because my baby better come on the stand. And the funny part about it is, one thing people don't understand, man, kids watch.
They do.
Kids look and pay attention. So, and the funny part about it, every time she walked on the field, she looked up. I'm like, "Daddy, right here, baby, my way." Because I'm make sure that, because like, trust me, they ain't gonna forget. Well, you say you come to the game, and I was looking for you. You wouldn't even understand. Like kids don't forget, man.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you a real life example. And my son brought this to my attention probably about 2 years ago now, maybe closer to 3. But he told me, he said, "Daddy, I want to be a YouTuber."
So yeah, we got that one too.
And I'm like, what in the world is a YouTuber? I know about YouTube, you know, and then over the years, over 2-3 years, I'm starting to pay attention to what they're interested in, right? I got Netflix, I got Disney Channel, I got Prime Video, I got everything. But you know what they spend the most time on? YouTube. And guess what? These YouTubers, Child Wild Clay, Royalty Family, all this. And I'm like, all they doing is getting viewers. But for my son to say, "Daddy, that's what I want to be," I gotta listen. I can easily be like, "Son, you ain't been on YouTube, man." But I would be failing my child, right? But then, of course, you know what I'm saying, you still want to be a parent, you want to encourage them, you gotta study, you gotta make sure you do this and everything like that. But if he's passionate about that, you gotta find a way to undergird that.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
So, because I'm in that position right now. My youngest said something about that. My oldest, he said stuff about that too, right? So let's go just in comparison, right? If your son came to you and said, "Hey, I want to be a marine biologist," what do you tell him? Do you encourage him to do that?
I encourage, son, you can be anything you want to be.
Right. Okay. But in the reality is, how many actual marine biology jobs are there?
Right. It's probably not enough to go around.
Slim to none, right?
Right.
Same thing, right? Same thing. So we're gonna talk about the YouTube, football, baseball, basketball, right?
Yeah.
Those jobs, yes, they're out there, but there's a small group of people that can get into them.
So let's stay on the marine biology.
Okay,
Let's
marine
stay
biology.
on that. Let's
Okay.
stay on right there. And let's talk about failure as a parent.
Yeah.
Because we can project that negativity, that negative conception of, hold up, you know what, it's just like the NBA. Everyone want to play basketball, right? So only 7% make the NBA, right?
Correct.
We can do the same thing with marine biology.
Yes.
If I'm that parent that says,
Right.
I'm not going to encourage you to be a marine biologist because how many jobs are out
Yeah.
there?
Well,
You see what I'm saying?
so if I
yeah.
finish on it, I'm not gonna tell them not to be a YouTuber,
Right.
not to play basketball, not to be a marine biologist,
Mhm.
but let them know because you have the
Yeah.
experience. You know, say, hey, you know, you want shoot here, definitely shoot
Yeah.
here,
Mhm.
but have that.
Exactly.
That plan
Yeah,
B,
yeah,
right?
That's
Because
right.
with those types of choices, you got your plan B has to be close.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So if you said today, you like, oh, I want to be a I don't know, a police officer, right?
Yeah.
You probably can go anywhere. They
Right.
hire,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't want to do that, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of jobs open, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with a lot of different careers, right?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like again, it's the law of averages. You want to be a web developer? Hey son, it's like 20 million jobs right now for a web
Yeah.
developer, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to be a marine biologist in the U.S., right? 5 maybe. You know, and you're gonna have to be on a coastal city, right? So the law of averages. Do not. I'm not stopping you. Try to be a marine biologist.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
play with the whales,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But teach them to have that on that in that aspect.
Yeah,
plan B needs
exactly.
to be. Everybody should have plan A, B, and
And see,
C.
to me, that's good parenting.
Right.
That's good parenting because you're not, because you can easily be like, you know what, that's what you want to be. We're gonna go full throttle with that. But if you don't have plan B in mind, now you could possibly fail your kid because now they're there. They got their marine biologist degree, credentials, or whatever, and now they can't find a job.
But the question is, and I hear you saying that you should have a plan B, but is it for you as the parent to have a plan B, or should the kid have a plan B?
No, it's for me. It's for me because I'm like just like when you were saying that you did all this stuff and you made these mistakes, right?
Right.
Now you have kids. Your job as a parent is to let them know about your mistakes. If you see them navigating to one of them mistakes, cut them off. Whoop. Hey son, I've already done this before, right? The outcome is not what you.
But is it that easy?
Yeah.
No, nothing is easy, right?
Right.
But and then the two going back to plan A, B, C, right? You let them know that, you know what I mean, once they get to the age of, high school, whatever, they really into, hey, I want to try to do this, son, daughter,
Yeah.
whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Shoot for the stars, right?
Yeah.
But you got to know if you don't hit that mark, right? I'm not saying you can continue to do it for the rest of your life trying to get there, but eventually you're gonna have to come to a point where you're gonna have to fall back and find something that's definitive.
Yeah, and it's a very thin line. It's a very thin line, and y'all bringing up really good points. But we have to be careful as parents not to project the outcome, right? Because my outcome or your outcome or our outcomes as parents may not be particularly their outcome because you got to factor in timing. You got to factor in generation. You know what? I pray our kids are supposed to be way ahead, way smarter than what we was. You know what I mean? Because they got more. You know what I'm saying? So we can't project outcome. My opinion, you can't project outcomes to your child based on your particular outcome. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And listening to what you said about being a YouTuber, my nephew was talking to me about it. He's go to college, play college football, all that stuff. So in my mind, like, bro, you got one ticket.
Yeah.
What you better stick with this ticket and punch a million ticket instead of trying to come over and cross to something that's probably not gonna be around too long, because the window for stuff is so small and it lasts for a period of time.
Yeah.
And then, as a parent, I stepped back for a moment and I thought about it and I was like, well, dang, that was a little harsh. I kind of, boo-booed on this dream a little bit. And I went back to him and I was like, man, just given reality, that's cool.
Yeah.
If you have a different option, because, we always taught them to have different options, A, B, C,
That's right.
But it's like, the window for that, how big is it? You know,
Yeah.
based on where you are now and based on when you trying to do that.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
got this over here, you got studies, you got school, you got football.
Mhm.
Like how, you know, what is the window for that?
Mhm.
You know, how you gonna be able to fit that in?
Mhm.
You know, it's cool if you can do that.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
but hey, we're dealing reality. So
Yeah.
you know, sometimes
Hey, look,
Mhm.
this is somebody I heard this quote like one is none, two is one, right? So that's like saying you got your main plan, you better have you always gotta have two of everything, right?
Everything.
I wear glasses.
3 sometimes.
I wear glasses.
Right.
I got 2 pair of glasses.
Right.
Yeah.
Cause you break them, then what you gonna do?
Right.
Right.
You can't see
And
nothing.
contacts.
Right.
Yeah, you see, and so I got 2 pair of glasses and I got a bunch of contacts.
Right.
Because that's important, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing with your life and your goals and what you're planning for, right? You have that main one, but you gotta have stuff to fall back on, right?
Right.
Just like if you your son is top notch football player, boom,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Run through high school, nothing. Run through college, so you know he going pro, right?
Yeah.
Boom, he in there for a year and a half, 2 years, blow out his knee. He got no education, no
Nothing to
nothing.
fall back
He
on.
never even looked at a book.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What happens then? So,
Yeah.
as a parent, if that was your son,
Yeah.
then I would say, hey man, what happened? Not just to him, as you can ask him, but on your side, did you not help him along, saying
Right.
have these,
Yeah.
these
And
And
options?
if you didn't, that means you failed.
But
You
see,
failed as a parent.
It's funny you mentioned that because
that's reality though.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when I coach football, when I was coaching football, like one of the main things, the first thing I always do is have a parents coach conference, like a meeting, okay? And you guys should remember this. Like every parent, I tell them, I'm saying, go back and rent the movie, the program, okay? I tell every parent that. They were like, I said, sit down with your son, okay, and watch the program. It's only one particular part that I want you to see, okay? And that part was you had this linebacker, D1 All-American. You put him in front of the screen without a play, he was reading it like that, okay?
Yeah.
But then you put a book in front of him, FD. He said, I don't need this because I'm saying I'm gonna see the pros be making all this money. But guess what? One game, you had a guard pull, wipe them out.
Yeah.
Coach said you never play again.
Yeah.
Now guess where he was? He's sitting at home with his mama, with no education.
Yeah.
So my point of bringing that up, I tell all parents who want to stick their kids in sports, okay, make sure, I'm saying that book is in front of them first. Like when I played football, I'm saying I used to come home with my uniform still on, doing my math homework.
Yeah.
My grandma was like, baby, you gonna take your uniform off? I was like, let me finish this last problem because this is more important to me outside of football.
Yeah.
So the main thing I'm saying with that is like we as parents, we gotta also understand like it's gonna be different types of jobs that our kids want to do. Okay, but some parents, I have to say this on record, like just because it's not your expertise, don't mean you're not gonna benefit or invest in it.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like the marine biologists or whatever, it might not be that many jobs, but if your kid needs all the different tools to get to be one of those 5, you know what I'm saying? Because it might be one of those 5.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, are you preparing him for that moment, or are you just saying, it's on the 5, what's the chance of you getting that?
Right.
So your mindset and your focus is not going to really be on the kid, but like you said, ACS Force of Faith, are you really doing the kid an injustice?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, like I said, the big thing about, like I said, the expectations and stuff like that, we as parents, especially as fathers, I'm saying, think back. I was just sitting here thinking about this a minute while y'all was talking. Think about, have our dads did that?
And see, and I think that's it. We always like to peel back layers.
Right.
When we talk, we want to peel back another layer. Right now, we talk about it because that layer right there, that front layer, what we just talked about, is us and our personal experience and what we want and what we want for our kids and what we should do, right? But now you talk about what you didn't receive as a kid, and now how that can really kind of overpower you having those expectations for your kids because you didn't have nobody telling you this and that.
Or
and
even
that.
trying to influence that.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of really makes you as a parent too say, you know what, I want to, what's the word? Overcompensate. I want to overcompensate because of what I didn't receive as a child. You know what I'm saying? So we fall into that opportunity as well, and we got to be careful.
But is that benefiting the kid by overcompensating?
I think it is to a certain extent, right? Because it's like, like I was mentioning earlier about my son, my oldest son, and how he was slacking. And, having a conversation with him like, look, man, I know you're a better student than this. I know you're a better person than this. Let me see that. And I did. He showed me that. He went from, making, these grades to making these grades. It's like, come on, man, I shouldn't have to talk to you about putting forth effort and being, the best person and putting forth, maximizing your potential. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we got that as kids, but it was more so from a perspective of, you better do X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? Right. It wasn't.
He'll be in my house without no job.
It wasn't a conversation of why. It was just you better make, not make. But with our kids, it was look. If you make this, then this the doors that you can walk into. But if you make this the door you can walk into. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, a lot of times our kids look at us and they look at what they, think is success from spending money, being able to shop, or eat at certain places, or drive certain cars, but they don't really understand, the background part, like what it takes to do that.
What it takes to get there.
Right. Like, all they know is, we finna go eat at Red Lobster. Like, I'm finna eat these shrimp. But you don't know what daddy had to do for us to go eat shrimp.
Right.
For real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm trying to, give you the reality of, being able to walk through these wider doors, so you can go eat shrimp when you want to.
Right.
So I think it's important, and I think for us as parents, it can go both ways. But I know, as parents, we mean it in, the loving and positive way, not the, hey, you better get out there and get it, type deal. But sometimes you have to give them reality, like, I ain't finna give you nothing. You better get it on your own, knowing that we will. Right. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know that. In their mind, it's like, oh, man, I got to get my stuff together because Pop said he ain't finna do. It's like, you can gauge either way.
So cool. I'm gonna be honest with you. So because I grew up with you and I know you, like I hear how you talk to your kids and how you talk to your kids, and communication is everything. Communication and presentation is everything, right? So you can have a parent that's like, hey, you better do this. Hey, right? Kids may not receive that.
Right.
But if you're a parent like James is, and I know I've witnessed him talk to his kid, that's exactly how he talked to his kids. Like, you know what? I know you can do better than that. And they receive it a little better. You know what I'm saying? So communication is everything.
But I'll be honest, man, like, that's like the older version of me. And I can say that,
I was sitting looking at the phone now.
I can say that.
You would always be like that.
No. Come on. You talking about the younger version of James versus the older version. They're two different people.
Right.
Because it's like
maturity.
Maturity and growth.
Right.
We when you're young, 18, 19 years old,
right.
That's not, it ain't coming out like that. It's like, hey, but as you grow and you mature and you learn, not just life, but you learn your kids, like you said, you listen to them, you pay attention to them, you see what works and what doesn't work,
and
so you figure out how to reach them.
So you saying that like, so some, like how you say you was talking to them easy like that.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, your son may like take that as, oh man, he being soft to me, I'm about to get off easy, right? So it may be different for different kids.
Different kids. Yeah, you gotta know your child.
It is.
Yeah, you gotta know your child.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And see, for me, I had kids. I had kids later in life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I had my first son when I was 35. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I got a little more experience. I don't have no experience in parenting. That's all new, right? But I got experience in, okay, I know how to communicate. I know how to be effective to my kids so they can benefit from that. But at the same time, you know what? I'm older. They can look at me like, okay, I can get over on daddy. Daddy cool, and they might be smart. They might know. So I got to know how to navigate that as a parent.
That's the same reason why they're like, oh man, mommy gonna say no, so I'm gonna go with daddy.
Well, vice versa.
They're gonna do that no matter what.
So that's funny because I remember when I was growing up, we would do the same thing to our parents. We already knew how our mom was, so we go straight to father. Like, hey, so like when I wanted to play sports, mom always said, no. I don't want you to get hurt. I'm a boy. Like, I'm a boy. Like, I play basketball. I'm trying to play football. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Hey, Pops, they got football tryouts at school. I'm trying to play.
He like, yeah.
Right. He's like, really? So I'm like going to practice all week long. Mom wonder, why you ain't coming home on the bus? I'm in football practice all week. I come home with the jersey like, yeah, we lit. You know what I'm saying? Mom looking crazy like, I told you couldn't play. Dad said I could play. So now that heat on me. You know that heat on pop. I'm going to the room. You know what I'm saying?
But you know the thing about it is, man, like I think one difference is like kids these days, like you really like I agree with you with the communication because we had tough love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't no, you know, I might do it. No, is it you gotta pick something and you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You know, kids these days have so many opportunities that we didn't have.
Yeah.
At the same time, like we have to alter so much stuff because like sometimes tough love is the best love. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with girls is hard.
Yeah.
Because now you guys like, you might, hey son, you can't have this, and dad is just being hard. Okay? Me, I'm like, no. Now I gotta deal with all these emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I feel bad because now you crying, and I was just expecting to say no, and then you go on by saying, no. The girl going to deal like so now I gotta sit here and deal with the emotional part. Now dad is sorry, even though I'm gonna change my answer, but I'm sorry. So now I'm not your best friend. Okay? So now when I tell you to do something, now you got an attitude. Okay, so with girls, it's why I pray to the Lord not to give Jesus. I'm trying to tell you, boy.
I know I can
Like,
deal
and
with
then the thing about it is, man, like y'all was saying, man, you know, you don't know what daddy had to do to get these shrimp. You know what I'm saying? With girls, like, dad ain't got it. So why? Because I just seen you drive down the road in a new car you just bought, so how come you got, but it's like, there's so much explaining you gotta do. You like, hold on, listen. I told you I don't have it. Okay, now I should have to explain myself. Well, I'm just saying, you know, it don't make sense to me that you got a new car. Understand? But I can't even get. I'm saying I can't even get the shrimp.
So that's a whole nother conversation. You know,
Red Lobster biscuits.
Right. I know, right? So, but the thing about it is, like I said, you know, me with having girls, man, like they mom would always tell me, they was like, listen, like you being too hard on the girls, and I was like, no, because like I want the best for them. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so, me personally, you know, even my sister would always tell me, she's like, look, bro, listen, it's not that you wrong for what you saying, but it's the presentation.
Oh, presentation.
You know what I'm saying?
Presentation is everything.
My son tell me that all the time.
Right.
We talk more in his older age, and we have these conversations, and he always tell me, everything that you told me growing up, you wasn't wrong.
Right.
It was just how you presented it.
How old is your son now?
He is 24.
So he really
So he finna turn 25 in September. Yeah.
That's Jerry.
Yeah.
But see, the funny part about it is, because my daughter came in and said the same thing. She said, Daddy, it's not the fact that you were wrong for what you were saying. You just don't want me to make the same mistakes you made. I said, oh my God, you got it. She said, no, it's not that I didn't get it. It's just the way you said it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the crazy part about it is, it picks back on then versus now. That's what we got. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we giving you what we got.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you said the important part is the conversation. The communication, The communication. Like, we basically can only go so far as to what we learned, how our parents was. Right. So we have to be different. And like you said, AC earlier, at the same time, the biggest part of being different is listening.
Right.
Listen,
But how many parents actually want to listen?
So that's the thing with us. Like I said, and I keep talking about my older son because we always had a conversation. Like we have like adult conversations. You know what I'm saying? Not that I don't with my other, but he's more talkative, more He's more communicative. So we talk about stuff like that. You know, and you know I told him as parents and as men we have to be transparent, especially with boys, and we have to tell them, look. And I told my son, I said, look, man. I was young. I didn't get no handbook with this shit. I was on the fly with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So as I've grown and as I've learned, I've tried to implement that. Yeah. You know, and he recognizes that because he saw where I started from to where I am now.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I listen a lot more and talk a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's a part of growth. And like I told him, getting ready, because you're in that age range where you start thinking about, marriage, kids, life. You're gonna be faced with the same thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to be a parent, and you're gonna have to look back and say, dang, what can I take from Pops that he gave me? You're gonna have to take that same energy that I gave and know that, okay, he started out one way, but he ended up another way, and this way, work.
Yep.
It may not work for my situation, so I'm gonna have to be flexible and do the same thing. I'm gonna start with this, but then I'm gonna have to switch it up going forward, depending on how the relationship is or how the growth is, whatever. So it's one of them things as parents, man, we have to learn to grow, we have to learn to change, and we can't just start out one way and finish one way. We gotta be able to start out one way and adjust on the fly.
So I got something. So this is gonna kind of piggyback from a little bit. We're gonna go into a little bit from last week, right? So you said then versus now, right? I feel like our parents, back then, right, didn't have to worry about some of the stuff we have to worry about now, right? So like I'm gonna start with this story right here. So my son, he's about to be 9, but he was about 4 then, right? So he was going to a little daycare type thing, and it was mostly girls in his class, right? So then all of a sudden his mom called me and tell me, hey, we gotta go up here and talk to them at the school or whatever. Come to find out, mostly girls, they was doing this thing, they was painting nails, and they painted my son's nails, right? Nah. So even my wife was like, nah. I went to them and said, hey, that's not what we're gonna be doing, you know what I mean?
Right.
But, so now today, right, that's something that parents got to deal with, because now, I guess back then, kids, I guess they would have business because they would hold it in and wouldn't come out until they're older, right? Now it's coming out a lot younger, right? And it's so much stuff that you got to deal with, right? So now we can't even say certain pronouns, like is it a little girl or is it? I mean, it's a little girl, but what does she want to be recognized as, right? At 12 years old and stuff like that.
Right.
So that kind of stuff right there, like right now, like that's what, again, when I had a son, I was like, man, I want him to be a boy because I didn't want to have to deal with all that, because it's here, right? Yeah. So my thing is like, what do y'all think about, if your expectation was to have a boy playing football, right? You want a girl that's dancing, right? You want a boy that's hooping, playing basketball. My son, I want him to play baseball, right? But now you faced with,
he doing hair.
You doing hair, right?
Yeah.
Your daughter is, got more girls than any other dude in the school, right? And then your son is doing, he like dancing.
Right.
He might be on, what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So so as a parent, how do you, that is really something difficult to deal with, especially when we.
So it's a good point to bring up, and let's bring a real world situation or real world family into the conversation, and let's talk about Dwayne Wade.
I know you're gonna say
Gabrielle Union. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's like that's the perfect example. You know what I mean? So if we was put ourselves in Dwayne Wade's shoes, how would you deal with that? Would you support it, or would you frown on it? I think that's the question that you're asking. That's basically it. Yeah.
Well, me personally, man, I feel like, because this is the thing that a lot of parents have to understand. Like you said, and it all goes back to, like you said, the communication part of it. Okay. However, knowing how you are in your personal belief in that, that's gonna always play a role in it. However, society is changing. So you have to adjust and sometimes grow and change with it. At the same time, you don't want your kid being afraid to come to you and talk to you about how they are, or something they might be in between.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You may think you want to do hair, but you really want to play football because that's what dad wants. Yeah. But, I've been mixing this perm together and doing the old girls down the street hair, and they loving it, and I'm like looking at the entrepreneurship of the whole thing. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Right, the opportunity of it. Right. So the thing about it is, we as men and as parents, the first thing we got to ask ourselves, okay, like, my kid gonna be different. So do I put a a world where they feel like they can't never come to me and ask me for nothing or give my opinion, or do I let them know, okay, listen, I know you want to do hair, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm the biggest fan of that, but if you're going to do hair, be the best at it you can be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even though it's something that we may not want to grasp at that time, I feel like as parents, we owe that kid time to gradually get used to it. Like Dwayne Wade. Like, I'm sure you say you got all these other basketball players in your house, but then now you have this one son that come to you and tell you want to be a girl. Like, I'm sure that one son you just jump, okay, let's go shopping for dresses.
Right.
No, that
But-
as a man, that's a mental state.
But when he said, so we're gonna kind of serious. So when he says, "Oh, I want to be a girl," do you let him know that you can feel that you're a girl? You can feel how you want to feel, right? You can feel that you're a dog. Go over there and bark, right? But from a I'm just getting it from a genetic standpoint. We gonna get down to it where
Right.
scientifically
Right.
you cannot change yourself. So me and my friends was arguing about this the other day, right? It's like genetically you cannot change yourself. I don't care what you do to yourself.
Right, to your body. Right.
Still a man.
If I dig you up out of the grave and do some genetic testing, it's girl or boy. It's not man, it's too many words. Too many weird different ones now, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I guess somebody gonna get mad. That's why they put a plus on the end now, because it's like we tired of adding letters, right? So it's all this different stuff, right? But at the end of the day, you only can be two things.
Right.
Right, and well, it could be a third. You could be a hermaphrodite, and then one is kind of more dominant than the other one, right? But at the end of the day, son, you feel like you're a girl, okay, but you could never truly be a girl.
Right.
So, saying that, do you still love him as your son?
I still love him.
Or do you?
100%. Still love him.
Do you? Because I'm saying, I get that, but you got some parents. I'm saying the relationship once they bring that news to you, the relationship is broken.
I won't say it's broken.
Yeah.
I think that's a opportunity as a parent to grow.
To
They
grow.
growth that talk about
If you
as a
want to.
parent.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You gotta
If you
want
want to. If you want to.
It's
Right.
the same thing. It's the
Yeah.
same thing when your son, like say for instance, you was like, oh, your son and brought home, a white girl instead of a black girl, right?
Right.
Your main thing, maybe you don't like that, but then you accept it, right? Because that's his thing.
And this is a girl.
That's it. I mean, yeah, we ain't gonna get into this.
Well,
yeah.
this is a girl.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to
Right.
Acceptance
So the
part.
accepting part.
Yeah,
It's the man.
accept
Right.
that part, right?
Right.
Because like my son, he's gay and stuff like that. Now, when we have like certain functions and stuff like that, he come around, but I'm like, hey man, I love you and all this kind of stuff, but don't be doing certain things
Tone it
around
down a
me.
bit.
Tone it down, because that's not, you know what I'm saying, we not on that side,
Respect
right?
my space, yeah.
You know what I mean? You go home and do certain things. That there may be some rough patches because of that. I'm not gonna say don't come around and don't bring,
Right.
but you know that's not what me and your mom or me and your, like, that's not what we into. Just
So you're asking them to hide it.
no, not hide it if he brought the person, but don't be all flamboyant with it and all this kind of stuff like that.
It's tough.
I don't know. I mean,
as
it's
men, especially as
it's tough.
black men, with that, it's. I don't. As a parent, man, you know, when your child come to you and be like, "Hey, pops, this what it is," and you like, okay. I mean, you got two choices. You kind of at a crossroad. You know, you can be like, "Shit, or you can be like, okay, and you can kind of try to understand where they're coming from and nurture their relationship.
Yeah.
And again, grow as a parent, because it's a moment, right? It's a teachable moment, it's an understandable moment, right? Because we're living in, and let's just be honest, we're living in a society where kids have a million different options and opportunities, way more than what we had, right? So some stuff that was appealing to us when we was growing up, it's not even on the table for them no more, because they got this stuff over here that's way more appealing that they want to pursue, right?
Yeah.
So as parents, it's like, you don't
Yeah.
want to get that call, but it's like,
Yeah, and then
what do
I tell
I do?
them, and then my
Yeah.
sons, if it was my son, I'll let them know the truth. Hey, okay, that's what you do.
Right.
But you think about it, if everybody was like this, the world would end. It'd be so much time, and the world gonna end.
Yeah.
Because you and Billy or whoever, y'all ain't making no babies.
Right.
Y'all-
Well, it's a reproduction.
They adopt them.
Well, no,
Right.
somebody has to make the babies.
But
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
two women ain't gonna make no babies. Two dudes ain't gonna make no babies.
Right.
Yeah, you can get into this whole thing. You can get into this whole thing where the Billy and whoever can donate, and then they can do all this stuff and insemination and all. Yes, that can happen, right? But tradition, if you take on whoever listens, If you take them and you put the men on this island,
Yeah.
put the women on this island with no boats, no nothing to make, no boats and stuff like that, leave them there, come back in 75 years and see how many people left.
That's true. I mean, unless they running insemination or they freezing eggs and stuff.
What they gonna get? No, you take them and drop them off.
They taking sperm.
You drop them off.
Right,
You see what I'm saying? Because it's not. I mean, I'm just gonna say it's not natural.
Right.
You know what I mean? It could be something that's in people's head that turns them that way or whatever, right there. But it's not natural.
Right.
But they still should be accepted for the way they are.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No.
So I was gonna say too. Say hypothetically, your child comes to you and says, "Daddy, I like boys," or "Daddy, I'm gay," right?
Mm-hmm.
I think as a parent, ultimately, as a parent, if you're a true parent, you truly love your child unconditionally, you're going to accept whatever they bring to you.
Yeah, and you should have already saw it.
Yeah.
Right.
If
you're paying attention.
If you're paying attention. But also, as a parent, I think it's our responsibility to make sure we question that child and make sure they're not confused. Because it could be they're confused. It could be a childhood trauma. It could be something traumatic. A trend, and they could be confused,
And I say trend, and I say it lightly because I've met people, or I have associates that, they straddle the fence.
Look, okay, so
they start out on one side, and then something happens.
All right.
We'll say traumatically, and then they feel like, okay, I won't get this on the other side, but then when they straddle the fence and start leaning toward the other side, they get the same thing. So it's like, you're gonna get it on both sides. So you're not really that way. You just feel like, okay, you will get less headache on the other side. But that's not true.
I mean, this is just me personally. Everybody's different, right?
Right.
It don't matter what kind of traumatic.
I'm talking about both boys and girls. I ain't talking about just boys. I'm talking about both.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I'm gonna say I know girls may be a little bit different because they emotion and stuff like that. But from a man's perspective, there's never been a moment where it was so traumatic, not in my life. I don't know if one of y'all like that to say, man, she did me so bad, or
Right.
or I don't know. Then I'm gonna go console. I'm gonna lay on your shoulder. That's how you want to say it. It's just nothing. You see what I'm saying? Like even I mean, okay, I wasn't molested as a kid or something like that. That seems like if that happened to me, that would make me more aggressive. Like ain't no way in the world I would consoling a man because I was molested as a kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? That way I would lean more to I gotta be with a woman because I know that what happened. I don't know. This is me.
For some, I guess the experience, and especially if you're young, being molested as a kid, you're young, your mind ain't developed. You haven't reached that age where you understand the sexuality between men and women. Mm-hmm. So if you're a boy, because you're not a man yet, because you're young. Or if you're a boy and you get molested by a man, then you think that's what sexuality is, right? Men's supposed to be with men. Because you haven't been with a woman, so you don't know, right? And then as you grow and you become older, and we'll just say you try women, right? As a boy, you grow into a young teen, young adult, you try women, and it's like, I ain't getting the same thing that I was getting from the man. So now you go back to what's comfortable for you as a perception, because that's what you know from being younger, right?
Man, I don't know, man. It's like I know my mom used to tell me stories. She was like, as a little boy, was riding a MARTA and stuff like that.
Right.
And she was like, man, you do stuff like you be sitting in the chair and we would ride MARTA all the time. She said, pretty women would come in. Now I'm 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. She said, you would get up. I ain't saying and put the lady like tell her to sit in your seat. And it's like I would just be looking at the women, but it was just like, so even at a young age, I knew that's what I liked.
But you weren't touched at a young age. So
right.
So for you, at a young age, you knew, this woman,
but that's
you know what I'm saying?
But that's a part of your male makeup.
Right.
I would assume, unless something happened, like I said, maybe like I said. So I understand what you're saying. So if I was that young and something traumatic, it may have affected that.
So let me do this. Because this hearing both of y'all talk, it came to me, something came to me. So I agree with you, Coop, when you saying, suppose something traumatic happened to cause that kid to be like that. Now my question is, as a parent, suppose that kid come to you and say, well, the reason why I like this is because Uncle Larry tested me.
Where you at?
Right. No, I'm saying, hold on, listen. Uncle Larry tested me. Okay, you as a mom, I was like, hold up. Me and my brother like this. He would never do you like that. No, I was just trying to tell you, like, that's what happened. That's why I'm like this. So, nah, you know, if you're gonna change, no, don't blame the family for what you going. No, I'm telling you, it goes back to the listening. Yeah. I'm telling you the reason I'm like this because, like you said, Coop, I experienced this, okay, and I got comfortable with it, okay. But the reason why I'm comfortable with it is because of Uncle Larry. Now, you as a parent, okay, what do you do then? Because you and Uncle Larry, y'all the closest.
You gotta address
what I'm saying.
You gotta address it.
But the thing about it is,
and I'm talking about face to face.
But the thing about it, what I'm saying is, you as a parent, now it comes with that growth and experience and that ultimate skill. Because now you got, okay, this is my brother, we close, we've been through all this together now, you done test my child, and then my child saying this. Like you kind of in the middle trying to figure out, like, I'm here, this is my baby, I'm here for you, I got you, but at the same time, now I gotta come to you, it's a possibility, we might throw blows and everything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because, like, my child like this, not saying they wouldn't have grew up and been like that anyway, but you had a hand in that. Right. You see what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's definitely a conversation that me and Uncle Larry, we finna have. Like, hey, bro, like, you know, little Johnny saying this. You know, what you got to say? Like, what's going on with that? You know. Yeah.
And I think it with me it's different because I have girls.
Right. I was about to say you got girls.
So with girls, like.
Is it more? So you got girls,
right?
And if you had a boy too, right? Would you be able to accept it? I just want to know the quick answer. Would you be able to accept it more from if it was your girl versus your boy?
No. What I'm saying by that is like
no, I was just asking.
No, like as a dad, you never want to accept anything like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, but at the same time, you have to look at the bigger picture. Okay, because if you that dad that's trying to teach your kid the sky's the limit, don't let them hold you back. Yeah. But then I need your approval for what I actually am. All this you don't preach about the sky's the limit, be the best at it. Okay, I'm gay, I want to be the best at it. But now you telling me, oh no, son, I can't support that. You know what I'm saying? But what I was saying as far as having girls, okay, some women are touched at an early age like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I always tell my kids, you know what I'm saying, that listen, okay, regardless of what it is, come to daddy. And matter of fact, I'm on camera, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be man enough to say this. One time my daughter was here. So I was in the room doing something and she called me. So she came in with her bra and her panties on. So I stopped, I said, stop. Go back to your room, put some clothes on, and come back. So she went and put the clothes on and come back. So then it was a teaching moment. I said, listen, I'm your daddy. I would never touch you, never do nothing that would never come in my head. But I'm a man first. You see what I'm saying? You can't go around every man thinking that they're gonna do like what daddy just did. You see what I'm saying? So to me, I use it as a teaching moment. I said, so never, I'm saying, like it would have took you the same little time you went back in there and put the clothes and came back. Okay, you could have did that again before you came in here. At the end of the day, you got some guys that won't do that. You see what I'm saying? So me being a man with girls, okay, not saying boys are different than girls, but you have to factor in the emotional part when you're trying to do these lessons because some women be touched and they never say nothing. And then you get in a relationship, you date this dude, you go to acting kind of funny and treat him some kind of way, and he's like, what's going on? Then finally, I'm saying, you break down and telling your story, and all the time, you're like, well, you know what? I just thought you were crazy. I didn't know you've been through all that. Yeah. So that plays a role in it also.
Bro, it's crazy. Like, I met so many, like, women in their older age that have been through that.
Me too.
And they
Me too.
never
Oh my
say
God.
nothing. And
Nothing.
It's like, when they finally do talk about it, as a man, like, you feel so, I don't even know the word to use, but you just be like, damn, like, really?
For real. Like, some of you would never know it.
No.
Like, the way you carry yourself, you would have never knew it.
Right.
Yeah.
You ain't
It'd
never
be so crazy.
And I was like, how did you hold it in for so long?
And they walk around head held high, like you couldn't tell them nothing. Yeah. And then when you get to know them and y'all start having these conversations, and it's like, yeah, my uncle did, so my cousin did. It's like, what?
Yeah. That's trauma.
Like, for real?
That's trauma. That's trauma.
So as a parent, it definitely make you like, it make you side eye everybody like.
No, what's funny?
Shit.
What's funny if you married to her or you dating her, and you go home with her, and you see that uncle, or you see that cousin,
right?
You know what I'm saying? You like,
oh, this
like, that's him. Like, oh, that's him.
That baby got my back.
What's crazy? Before she told you the story, oh, y'all was cool. So now you come, what up, bro? You like, I find some stuff out. Bro, I don't want to pound you. I want to pound you.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's why I try to tell my girls, man, like, regardless of what happened, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Always, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, you going through the divorce, you know what I'm saying? And so me, you know, not being married, I tell my baby mamas all the time, I say, listen, okay, whoever you date, that's on you. I'm cool with that. Yeah. Okay. However, let him know that your daughter has a daddy that is active in her life. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Whatever issues, whatever, you need to handle that. Because if my daughter comes to me and say, hey, daddy, he did this, okay, first of all, I'm going to come to you. Listen, okay, my baby said, this dude did X, Y, Z, okay? I need you to check that, okay? Some women do it, some women don't, depending on how deeply they feel for doing whatever, relationship or whatever. Well, you know what, me and her don't spend that much time together, so I think she just causing issues because, you know, she ain't never happy for me. Now, listen, okay, I'm coming to you as a dad, as a man, letting you know, okay, X, Y, Z has happened, okay? Step outside your feelings with Leroy, okay, and pay attention to that because I'm coming to you first. Now, if my baby comes to me again and said, Daddy, listen, Leroy did, okay, 1, 2, 3, along with X, Y, Z, but it's on. Okay, I ain't even coming to you and saying, no.
And that ain't
I'm going to Leroy.
That ain't even just for girls. I think that's for kids, period.
Right.
Because I even me, like I told my boys the same thing. Like, it ain't nothing that y'all can't talk to me about. And I ask them all the time, like, anybody touch you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times as boys, you know, they have this tough, I'm a boy mentality, and they won't say nothing because they feel like it'll make them weak, even as boys.
Right.
No.
Do y'all ever have like conversation? Like, did you ever have a conversation with? So now your kids are, you know, what I'm saying, with their moms or whatever, right? And then they're gonna be dating, and then once they get into a serious relationship, do you ever take it upon yourself to say, well, if y'all in a serious relationship, then I need to, you know, talk to him because he's around my kids all the time. Like if that now your daughters or whatever is moving into his house, do you feel that there should be a conversation between y'all?
I never did, honestly, because I felt like as parents, the mama already know how I am. You know, they know how we are as men. Because any man that has kids, most men, especially with, you know, girls and boys, we just like the mama bear. You know, especially when it comes to another man. It's not no jealousy or it's not none of that. It's, hey, this is my kid, he in your house, but understand I'm not gonna have no radio playing when it comes to my child. But you tell me.
But the thing about it, like I said, like so from my perspective, my son's father, he never like, we cool, we definitely, it never been no problem, but he never came to me and we just sat down and talked about once his son was living in my house 24/7. Right?
No, I won't say that I did because I felt like, again, you know, the mother know how I am as a father. Like, I leave that up to her to have that conversation with him. As a man, like, I didn't feel like I needed to have that conversation with him. Now, had some shit come up. Okay. See, now I'm going to interject myself.
I felt like, you know what I'm saying, like if the roles were reversed, like, once I knew that, you know, they would get married and he was gonna be, I would have came to talk to him, like, you know, to try to fill him out and stuff like that. My son is living there. And he never did that, right? You know what I mean? Because again, you know what I'm saying, at that point, you're not talking to me. you know what I'm saying, you and her had a problem, but technically the woman has a lot more say because she got the custody and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
So now if you don't want to talk to me, you know what I mean, your son is in my house. Like if I say just simple stuff, I say you gotta eat this, he gotta eat that.
Right.
If he gotta go to bed this time, he can't have XYZ, right? Now he goes say, Dad, Mr. Rico says I can't have this, but you let me have it in my house and here.
Right.
So if you got a problem with that, right? But now you might talk to her, but I have said that because it's my house.
Right.
This is my wife, my house. You talk to me.
Right. Okay. But the thing with that is, right, that's beyond the scope of control, right? Because when you go from being, two individual parents who don't have marriages or, spouses, and you're co-parenting, all right, that's a little bit more controllable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you go from being, two individual parents without spouses to, okay, now I got a spouse. So now as a man, you can't control what another man do in his house, right? You can't control what another man say. Mm-hmm. So as a man, I'm going to respect the fact that you're a man and you're going to raise my child accordingly, right? So if you say he can have ice cream, then he can have ice cream at your house, right? But when he come to daddy's house, we gonna fucking burn Bruce's up if he want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just how that goes. Like, I can't control what goes on in your house.
Yeah.
Right.
And even with my boys, when they would come stay with me, oh, mama let us do this. Okay, that's at your mama house.
Yes.
You at my house.
Right.
So this what we do at my house.
Because I just would have thought it would have been cool, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had no Anna against him.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? He live here, but let's talk. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and getting on the same page, so nothing ever. Because even though, like, say for instance, if you was trying to watch his weight, just as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch his weight, right? So you and me and him was talking or whatever. It's like, yo, man, when he here, I try to get him ice cream like every, you know what I'm saying, don't deprive him of nothing.
Right.
And then he like, yeah, when he come through or whatever, then I do the same thing because like if I'm trying to work on, you know what I'm saying, keeping his weight down because he don't have no future medical problems and stuff like that.
Right.
But then he go to Pop's house, he Bruce's, he
Right.
slammed him about the whole weekend. Right. Then what we trying to do over here is not equal to and we looking out for the betterment of the kids. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because me and you ain't got no beef. I mean, you and her might have had something, but it's over for a reason. Right. You know what I'm saying? As long as everybody's cordial, no disrespect and stuff like that, everything we talking about is for the betterment of the kid and them growing up.
But the thing about it is, it's all about.
But some people don't like. Some dudes don't like that.
Right. The expectations. Let me say this. Also, again, talking about expectation. You as a father, you see the expectation you want the kid to have in your house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then, like me personally, I just feel like if he in my house, okay, he gotta go by my rules. Right. Okay. If you want him to be doing something outside of what I go into my house, then either you should be the man that should have been stepped in, so I don't have to do all this, or I'm saying, simple, put him in your house. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's simple. But why he in my house?
You can't control.
Right, I'm saying. Why he in my house? You control my house.
Yeah. You can only control your house.
Right.
But then if we'd have had some kind of like some kind of communication, right? Just it don't have to be much, right?
And that's possible.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you like, yo, man, and when he comes to the house, we trying to do X, Y, Z, right? And then you talk to me and say, well, we do it a little bit this way, but we can work on it. We can try to figure out. You know what I'm saying? It's just about being because like it ain't their fault. It ain't the kids' fault. They got to jump back and forth and do all this kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So just make it as easy as possible. And I feel as if, you know what I'm saying, if your child goes and stays over there and he comes back, if there's any kind of back and forth, it's probably gonna be better if y'all get on the same page. But because they'll get confused, right?
Right.
Because if it's like I can't have no ice cream over here, but then when I go to daddy's house, I can have all this ice cream, right?
But honestly,
I've been a parent. I'm feeling it. Come with it.
I've been a parent to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we didn't do it all.
Because honestly, let's be truthful now. Like they're not together for a reason. And most of the time, it's a bunch of hate they go. So it's like, man, for the nigga, you do what you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna be a partnership. It's never a partnership to where it's consistency across the board. It's always one parent gonna try to be the friend and the other parent gonna try to be a real parent. And it's gonna always confuse the kid. And so they're gonna always go with the parent who trying to be their friend.
Because I'm sorry, I do always devil's advocate in anything. I always like to, you know.
But that's the truth, though.
But because like in reality, like if my wife talked to her ex-husband and I hear anything where she get upset or I can tell how she is. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Me and him don't have no problem.
Right.
I'm already.
It's your old lady.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, man, like, see, you'll blank out, man.
Right.
I mean, hit somebody in the throat. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you look at. So that's always. I don't know if I ever told her that. She probably told her if she watching or something like that. She look at it.
Look, she probably know that.
It's like anytime, like I might be in the next room and I'm like, oh, she talking to she talking to him. And I kind of hear it or whatever. I ain't really paying attention, but then if she get excited any kind of bit or something like that, I'm like, now I'm listening. And I'm like, say the wrong thing. Let's say the wrong thing, and I'm there. You know what I'm saying?
So I want to share my experience with that because I actually was the father that you probably was looking to have a conversation with. Right. You know, when I met my wife, she had a daughter, and I came into their life when the daughter was a year and a half. You know. Father's still in their life, you know, he gets her every other weekend or whatever, but we're talking a year and a half, right? We're dating, I fall in love with the child. So when we get married 5 years later, you know what? At my wedding ceremony, of course I'm marrying my wife, but at the same time, I'm making a commitment to that child as well, right? So for me, it's like, okay, I'm not just marrying the mom, I'm marrying the mom and the daughter.
Right.
You know, so for me now, I got a family, you know, so for me as a man, I'm like, okay, you know, she has a father. The father's well in the child's life. Cool. But I started noticing mother and father bickering back and forth all the time, right? So now I'm mediator. I'm like, look, that's your ex. Y'all should be done. Why y'all going back and forth? Well, he took her out of town. He didn't tell me, all that back and forth, right? So I had to step up as a father, as a husband first, and then a father. Like, look, you know what? We need to put a stop to this, okay? So my thing was, you'll never be friends with the ex. Right. Man to man, you'll never be friends. But there's got to be a conversation, right? So I took the lead. His parents, her grandparents were heavily involved. You know, so a lot of times every other weekend, she would say, I'm going to my, you know, supposed to be going to her dad's house. She's going with grandma and grandfather. Okay. So, you know, and seeing the grandma and grandfather build a relationship, all with respect, you know, never had no issues with the father. So I took it upon myself after hearing, you know, years and years of bickering, this and that. I said, you know what? I got my place, you know, I got my house, my marriage, the child is stable with me. It's time to have a conversation with the father and the grandparents. So I asked, you know, can I come over and talk to you guys? And the only reason I did that was to let them know, hey, I'm in Imani's life. Isaac, which is her father, I would never disrespect you and try to I cannot take your place as her father, as the father, but you know what? She is now with me and Neji. We have our set of rules. We encourage Imani, hey, don't tell what's going on over there. You don't have to bring it over here, and vice versa. What's going on over here, you don't have to, because the child can be confused, right? You know, and some parents can manipulate the child and try to get information, this and that. So I had to have a conversation. And I think that's what anybody would want, to be on the same page. From that time, never had any issues. Yeah. Never had any issues with the mom.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no,
it's almost like, you know, and I forgot to see the other side of the coin, right? Because sometimes the women, they may just leave. Right? And then now, me as a dad, like, I didn't want my wife or my girlfriend and my baby to leave because she may have been, you know, whatever the situation was, right? Yeah. Now I'm salty and bitter and never gonna be right because, you know, now my baby girl is with you.
Yeah.
And now I'm just always mad. So anytime me and you try to conversate, it ain't gonna work because you got what I want. Right? So talking to me will never work. So now you need, as far as like picking the baby up and all this kind of stuff, it may need to be somebody else in between because I'm not gonna never be right. Right. And it can go both ways, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. But I completely forgot about that part, right? Because it's all kind of different situations,
different scenarios.
You know? And I would never like you at that point.
Right. I'll be honest. I'm gonna give you kudos. And I think I told you that before because I know I I know me as a person.
Yeah.
That's not my life, and I cannot do that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
And not because I don't think that I'm mature enough, but because everybody's not mature enough.
Everybody's not mature. Exactly.
So one person acting the dummy is gonna make you act a dummy, make you act. And I know it shouldn't be like that.
Yep.
But it's like you give the same energy that you get.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And you know, I've dated women that have kids, and it's been like, you know, you listen to them talk about the issues and problems that they have, and as a man, you just want to solve the problem, right? You want to go talk to the dude, but it's like, you out of pocket because y'all not. You know, we're not married. We just dating. We might not be dating next week. You know what I'm saying? But you feel they pain because as a man, you know, you kind of went through it, you know, kind of indirectly a little bit yourself. Whether you married or not, as even being married, like you tell your kid no, your wife tell your kid yes, it's like baby, I told him no. You know what I'm saying? Then as a man, you know, just having kids, it's like, fuck, I just said don't do that, and you know, here they go. So it's like, man, it's a tough situation to be in as a man because you just know your freedom is like flapping in the wind. It's like at any given moment, it's like, oh, it's all right. You don't violate it, so it's going down.
Yeah, and you know, so that now, so I flip the coin now. You know, so now, you know, after 12 years of marriage, now you're divorced, right? We got 2 kids together. So now it's like mom's bitter. Right. Mom's trying to turn boys against daddy. Daddy's the worst thing ever. Daddy ain't shit. Oh, my bad profanity. Your daddy ain't this and daddy ain't that, right? So now it's like, okay, I'm a forward thinker. I like to think forward. You know, so how would life be? How's life going to be now if she gets another man and brings that bitterness to that man and everything like that? So now I got to be mentally prepared. You know what? Don't do anything to jeopardize your freedom. But if she exudes that negative energy that she has from me now to the kids and now to the new man, now guess what? Now all eyes on me. Alan, how you gonna react? You know what I'm saying? So it goes to that maturity. If that person's not mature, you know, but my thing is, no matter what, I'm gonna be there for my kids. And I'm gonna encourage my kids to talk to me. If there's anything going on, I don't care about any negativity, you come talk to your father.
Bruh, I'm telling you, like, it ain't even got to be a marriage type situation, but even just a situation where the mama projects negativity or, you know, make you seem like less than a father or a period. You know, it's, and we grew up together, went to church together. I'm probably not the most religious person, but, you know, stuff like that, man, you just, like my mama say, you just have to let God take care. And you know, it's crazy, man, because that shit come full circle. And you know, when I talk, man, I tell anybody, man, I don't talk from shit that I hear. I talk from shit that I know and I experience. You know what I'm saying? That shit come full circle, and the way that they try to make you be a project, they always end up seeing it at the end, and they always come back to you and be like, you know what, that wasn't right. That wasn't right. So because the only thing that you can control is what you can control. That's how you are with them. That's it. The image that you have with them, and the parenting skills, and the relationship you have with them. That's it. That's it. And everything else at the end, it take care of itself.
So basically, for the final thought on this, I'm saying, so we can wrap it up. It's like I say, it's funny that you mentioned those stories because one of our future topics that we're gonna get into, because we got a whole show on this, is basically the pros and cons of being in a relationship where you got to raise somebody else's kid. So we're gonna discuss that. Okay. But on the last note, let me just say this. You know, being a dad, being a parent, you know, expecting our kids to do certain things. You know, like I said before, the main thing we got to do, we got to communicate with these kids. I'm saying we got to be able to listen to these kids. And then I think the most important point that listen to you guys, we got to take us out the situation. I'm saying we got to take us out because that's not how we would do it. But we got the listening and the communication. You got to realize the third point, it's not me that's doing it, it's them that's doing it. You see what I'm saying? So we as parents, as fathers, as mothers, I'm saying even grandparents, everybody whoever raising the kid, because some kids don't have the luxury to have a mother and father. You know what I'm saying?
True.
You might have an auntie raising you,
True.
my mama best friend, everybody knows somebody. You just never know.
Mhm.
But as a parent, because parent is the key word. As a parent, we have to, you know, like I said, listen to these kids. You know, our expectation of these kids is going to be what we want, but we got to also sit down and ask them, what is it that you want to do? Okay, and then you got to ask yourself as a parent, okay, am I going to go full force in behind this kid to teach this kid that sky's the limits, or is it going to be to the point where, you know, I want you to be that, but right now I just don't know because I don't really think you can do that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But until next time, guys, that's our show. I'm saying thank you for tuning in to Bro Code. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Next time.